let us continue with the topic. Now we will discuss about the third principle in the standards of essence of ethics. Right. The next one is common good approach. Now, what is the exact definition of this approach? Now, this approach believes that life in a community is good. Every effort should be made to strengthen the life in the community so that the members of the community become more dependent on each other. Right. Now, see here, I'll crux down this point and I'll give an example of this. Now, this common good approach, the essence of this is, now it believes that life in a community is good. Now, what we have to do, every effort should be made to strengthen the life in the community so that the members of the community become more dependent on each other. Right. So every effort has to be made to strengthen the community. So that what happens? They become dependent on each other, more dependent on each other. Right. So I'm writing down the crux points. More dependent on each other. Right. Construction of public utility, roads, community centers, and your public toilets comes under common good approach. Right. See here, your public toilets, roads, public toilets comes under this common good approach. Now observe here, these roads will be used by the community. When will the roads be laid? When the community and life in a community is good, these roads and toilets are being erected. Now why these will be erected? In order to strengthen the community, in order to increase the hygiene of the community. Right. So everybody will use it, and in the society everybody will be more dependent on each other. Now see here, our common practice that most of the governments follow is your common good approach. Right. Now utilitarian and common good approach is being adopted by the government departments. Common good approach and utilitarian approaches. Right. Now these two approaches are followed by the government. Now see here, sometimes your private companies, your profit making companies are also adopting common good approach. Right. They are creating facilities for benefiting the individuals. Now this is nothing but when a common good approach is followed by a private company. Now what you call this now? In the present arena, what we call it is corporate social responsibility. Right. Again, we will discuss this in detail in the topic itself. Right. Corporate social responsibility. Right. Now many corporate companies are adopting schools and they are building toilets. Right. For the public utility services. Right. Now the fourth principle what we will deal is fairness and justice approach. Fairness and justice approach. Now what is this fairness and justice approach? Right. Now see here, in this approach all equals are treated equally and all the unequals are treated unequally. Now see here, I'll write down the point and then I will give an example so you can understand it easily. All equals are treated equally. Now this arrow mark represents treatment, right? and all unequals are treated unequally. All unequals are treated unequally. Now with an example you can understand it very well. Now see here, your reservations, right, your difference in the pay of CEOs and ordinary employees is nothing but fairness and justice approach. Now see the pressure taken by the CEO and pressure taken by the employee. Will it be the same? No. So automatically the pay will be different for CEO and the employees. And also the facilities given to the individuals. White collar job means nothing but you are given with more facilities because you are utilized to the core. When you are with a blue collar job, then automatically your facilities will be decreased, right? You got the point now? Fairness and justice approach. Now examples, I'll write down the examples. Reservations. Reservations not only in the case of jobs and education. Simple example, right? When you book a train ticket, when you are reserved, automatically you are treated separately. An unreserved candidate will be treated separately in a train. Am I right or wrong? He is not allowed to sit in your seat. Now that is nothing but your fairness and justice approach, right? Now I'll write one more example also. Difference in pay of CEO and other individual employees, right? Now you got the point clearly about this? Yes. Now focus on this. These basics are very important for your examination. Now the last principle that you have to focus is virtue approach. Now what is this virtue approach? Now it focuses on good habits, and it says that virtues are good habits and vices are bad habits. Now again I will explain with an example. The definitions might be very tough to understand, but with the examples you can understand it very easily. But first I will crux down the point, right? This approach focuses on good habits, right? Its main focus is on good habits. Right, now what it says, your virtues are good habits and your vices are bad habits, right? Now what are the virtues, right? See here, which helps to the society and which helps to the community, which helps to the economy, which helps to the ecosystem are nothing but good habits. The exactly opposite is nothing but vice versa are bad habits. Now this approach focus on that good habits, right? Now we have discussed all the principles. Now see here, ethics comes into play when there is no rule of law or implementability for the rule of law, right? Or it is difficult to determine all the activities or steps of any action without this, right? Got the point? Now I'll write down the crux point here. Now at last, what you say about ethics? Ethics comes into play when there is no rule of law or implementability of rule of law to poor, right? Now this is the crux point, right? I'll write down the things here. Ethics comes into play. Now this is asked once in your service commission examination, so that's why I'm writing this. Comes into play when there is no rule of law when there is no rule of law, or implementability for rule of law. Implementability for rule of law to poor, right? Your general consensus is nothing but your ethics, right? Now see here, where there is no rule of law, it is very difficult to determine those activities, right? It depends upon our general consensus, right? Now we will go into the next concept, next basic concept, which will be very helpful in order to gel to the next concepts, right? Types of inputs or resources. Now these are the basics regarding ethics, right? Next concept what we will deal is types of inputs and resources. Now what I can say is, if you can focus on the videos, then this is enough for the examination. After observing all the videos, you answer the questions, then automatically you can boost up your confidence, right? Now how many types of inputs or resources are there for any activity? There will be 4 types of inputs for any activity, right? Now what is the first one? Physical input. Right, and the next one is economical input. And the third one is socio-economic input. Socio-economic input. And the fourth one is ecological input. Ecological input. Now these are the types of resources for any activity. Now let us discuss about the physical input. I'll write down only the highlighter point there, right, so that you can understand it easily. Now what are the physical inputs? Now I will take this physical input as I1. The term, it is self-explanatory. Your labor, your land, your material, your money is nothing but your physical units, right? Land, your work, labor are nothing but your physical inputs. Now what is economical inputs? It is nothing but your management of funds, right? Now how the external and internal funds are to be mixed, right? I'll write down the crux point I2. It's all about how to manage the funds, how to manage external and internal funds, how to manage this external and internal funds. Now generally in any activity 70% will be internal fund and 30% will be external fund. Now this is the general consensus rule. As likewise in our Companies Act, in order to be a company owned by any individual, 51% stake has to be for the individual who has to own that, and the 49% will not have any ownership on that. He might have shares, but he will not have ownership on that, right? Similarly for this. Now what is socio-economic input? I will take it as I3. What is socio-economic input? Now your loss to culture, loss to the livelihood, loss to the employment, loss to the ecosystem, and loss to dependence is nothing but your socio-economic input, right? When you do an activity, you have to consider what loss that you make to the culture, right? See here, after introduction of your Domino's and Dunkin' Donuts, these organizations have all focused on loss of culture or eating habits, because these pizzas are not at all our tropical, I mean climatic conditions eating habits, right? Those are westernized habits, right? Loss of culture, loss of livelihood. Now due to activity, if anybody's livelihood is affected, similarly, see here, these are all our communist policies, right? If a bigger mall is erupted, automatically your shopkeepers and all the vendors will be disturbed. Am I right or wrong? This is nothing but loss of livelihood. Now, which leads to the next one, loss of employment. These are all interrelated, right? Loss of your ecosystem, that comes into the culture itself. Next one, ecological input. I'll take it as I4. Now what is this ecological input? The term itself says it is loss to ecology. Loss to ecology, right? You are lost to biodiversity. Now, for any activity which has to be ethical, for any activity, now this is very important, focus on this, for any activity to be ethical, you have to follow this rule, right? Your physical input, your economical input, your socio-economic input, your ecological input must be less than 0, right? Now, this is very important thing. Once it was asked in your commission examination, right? That is what this equation explains you. The output we are generating must be more than the input what we are consuming, right? Now see here, this equation says you the output what you are generating. I'll write on the full point right here, must be greater than what the inputs you are consuming, right? General notion principle. Now see here, everything might be very easy to understandable, but in your examination most of you cannot write this, right? You have to be perfect on the definitions for this, right? Focus on this. Next, we'll go to the next slide. Now, how do you calculate this physical inputs, ecological inputs, socio-economic inputs? Now, for this you have to consider some points, right? For socio-economic inputs I3, right? Government, public officials are sensitive towards the need and they focus on requirement of citizens, right? Now see here, for I3 calculation, right? Government, I am writing directly as I3 because you can know by observing the things, right? Now government has to be sensitive. I mean they have to understand the concerns of the people, sensitive towards the people or citizens of the country, what we speak it as, right? The more sensitive the government is, the more accurate will be the I3, right? If government is more sensitive, automatically your socio-economic input will be more accurate, right? General point, but you have to observe this very carefully, right? Now see here, when this socio-economic input, when the people, now the government is concerning about the sensitivities of the people. Now when a private organization, right, when a private organization focuses on this people sensitivity, that is called our corporate social responsibility, right? Now see here, to determine I3, now one of the important indicator is, corporate social responsibility. corporate social responsibility. Now we will discuss this in detail regarding the topic in organizations and development. Now this is the indicator for I3. Now see here, this is the prime thing, but you have to consider the remaining possibilities are also as indicators for socio-economic input. Right? Now next important point in this inputs, how to calculate your ecological input, which is a very difficult factor, right? How do you calculate this ecological input? Any idea of this? Right? Now see here, there are two indicators for knowing this ecological input. Now see, now by this time you have to answer this. The two indicators are already we have discussed in ecology, environment impact assessment, right? EIA. Already I have discussed in that topic that we have a connective thing in ethics also, right? I have given a point there, environment impact assessment. Now this is the indicator to calculate your ecological input, right? Which is called EIA. Now what is the next indicator? As I said, there are two indicators, right? Now the next one is environment monitoring program. Environment monitoring program, right, which is called EMP. Now we have discussed environmental impact assessment in detail as a chapter in ecology. Go through that for the ecological input. Now I will give the crux points what we will do in environmental impact assessment. Now when it will be done. Now this EIA will be done before the start of the project. One important thing, before the start of the project. Right, now it is submitted with complete DPR, right? Means detailed project report, submitted with DPR, detailed project report. Now what is this environment monitoring program? Now it is done after the project start. After the project start. Now which is nothing but SEA program. We have discussed this difference between EIA and SEA, which is nothing but your environment monitoring program. After project start, or you can say it as during project. Right, focus on this. Now let us go into the next concept. We have discussed in detail regarding this ethics. Now let us discuss the differences between ethics and morality. Now you might think both terms are same, but there is a clear cut difference between ethics and morality. Already we have discussed the definition of ethics. Now we will see the differences between ethics and morality, and first basis we will discuss the definition of morality. Ethics versus morality. Now what is this morality first? Then we will discuss the difference. What is this morality? Morality is nothing but your inside perspective of any activity, whereas ethics is your outside perspective, right? Now see here, morality is nothing but your inside perspective, what you think about that. Inside perspective. I'll write down the point here. Of any activity. Now ethics is nothing but your outside perspective. Now I will explain it detailed, don't worry about this. First I'm writing down the points. Outside perspective. Now again, one more difference between this morality and ethics. Morality is nothing but judging on basis of accepted values of any individual or any organization, whereas ethics is judged based on universal values. Right, now you got the point clearly. Now see here, I'll write down the crux point. Right, morality is nothing but judging on. So I'll write down the point because you have to know this point clearly. On basis of accepted values of any individual. Accepted values of any individual or an organization, but ethics is judging on basis of universal values. Now find out the difference clearly. Universal values. I'm focusing on the point here. Done. Now this is the exact difference between ethics and morality. Now it is possible that an action can be moral but not ethical. Right, now see here, an action can be moral. Yes, can be moral because you can judge by the accepted values, but it might not ethical. But it might not. Now I'll give a simple example. Right, now see here, when you are suffering with calcium deficiency or otherwise some your bone disorders, now when a doctor says that take more of protein food, likewise your chicken, egg and your fish which supplies you cod liver oil or fish liver oil. Right, now see here, is this moral? Yes, if you want to be strong you have to eat that, but see here, killing the animals might not be ethical. Right, now this can be your clear explanation of this statement. Right, now see here, I will give you one more clear explanation. Right, if we are judging the perspectivity or society sitting inside the society, then it is called morality. Right, now see here, if we are judging the perspective or society or the society is sitting inside the society. Now this is society. Now when we are the person sitting inside the society, now this is called morality. Right, you have to behave according to the societal movement. Am I right or wrong? You cannot go against the rules. Now when we are judging the society sitting outside the society, now this is your individual. Right, now this is a society. Right, now sitting outside, then it is called ethics. Got the point? Now ethics is more general word in comparison to morality. Right, now see here, morality is nothing but a subset of ethics. Morality is nothing but a subset of ethics. Now I'll write down this in the form of Venn diagram. Right, now got the point? Yes. Now morality will not evaluate the action, but Ethics will evaluate the action of an individual or an organization. Morality will not evaluate the action of an individual, but ethics will evaluate the action. Got the point? Yes. Now see here. Let us consider some statements. Now we will see about the previous questions asked here. Now morality is and ethics is, you are given with a statement, right? Morality is nothing but about how you treat the people you know. Ethics is nothing but about how you treat people you don't know, right? Now see here, I'll write down this point. This is very important, right? Morality is about how you treat people, is about how you treat people you know. Right? Now ethics is about how you treat people you don't know. This is the question once it was asked, right? Now you got the difference, exact difference between the things, right? We will continue the topic in the next video. Thank you.